Hello friends, myself Professor Vinod Pillai. Welcome to Java programming session. In today's session, I'll be showing you how to create simple program using Java. This will be our first session in the Java. I've already created some of the videos in the Java, but in this series I'll be starting from the basics of Java, and I'll be taking to you most of all the concepts which generally user used to need to know before developing an application in Java. So let's start the session. In today's session, we'll be simply creating a simple hello world applications. In that, I'll be explaining these all 5 topics. So let's start. First and foremost, you should know that Java is an object-oriented programming languages. So before starting and before going further, I do expect that you have basic understanding of object-oriented programming languages. That means you know what is class, what is object, what is inheritance, why we need it, exception handling, and all the such concepts. You have some basic understanding. That means I do expect that you know something about in C++. If you don't have much idea in C++ or object-oriented concepts, I do recommend please have a look at some of my videos in C++ in which I've explained all these concepts. Yes, it is true, as and when inheritance comes, I'll be explaining it, but I'll be expecting that you know some idea of inheritance. So I do recommend that you have some basic knowledge of object-oriented programming before coming to the sessions. Okay, so let's start it. That Java is also an object-oriented programming languages. Okay, so it also supports the same what major other programming languages supports, but Java has some other rules also. That in Java, if you want to simply print any values or you want to create any variables or anything, it should be inside the class. You can't do anything outside the class. That's a fundamental rule you should understand if you're shifting from a C++ to Java, or you're doing a simple programming in Java. Okay, so if someone says he just want to print hello world, or he want to simply print his name or ABC or XYZ, then he has to create the class and then he has to do it. Okay, the importance of class is that anything you want to create, anything you want to do it, everything depends on class only. Okay, it's not like C++ that you create a main method and that you declare it, or you can have some global variables. No such concepts is here. Okay, so even if you want to have a main method also, then it should be in the class only. Okay, so class is everything in Java. Okay, I hope so you understand that what is class. Class is a user defined data type. So as per the requirements, user used to create a new data type, and that we call it as class. Okay, in C we used to call structure and union concepts. In C++ we came up with a concept called class, and Java uses the same concept, that is class only. Okay, so let's first simply try to understand how to create a simple program of hello world applications. I've already created the program, I'll be explaining it only. Okay, so I've written something like this: public class name, and I'm written public static void main string args and system.out.println. Okay, now what all these things, and I'll explain it. First and foremost, anything you want to print it on the screen, then you have to write the statement. Okay, at initial state the statement is quite confusing if I explain it right now. Okay, but for the time being I just explain it, but as and when we go further and further, you'll understand what I was telling in that time. If you want to print any statement on the screen, you generally find the statement again and again, that is system.out.println, that is by default transfer the control to the console to print the whatever statement is given to him. Okay, so what is system, what is out, what is println? Okay, system is a class. Okay, out is a print stream object that is of static type, and println is a method of it. Okay, so it's quite confusing, but you just simply for the time being just remember that system.out.println is with the help of which you can print anything on the screen. So anything which you pass through double quotes, it will simply print on the screen only. Okay, now easy way to identify which is class, which is what, anything which starts with capital letter, it is definitely a class. Okay, maybe an abstract class also, maybe is possible an interface also. And println, it is in small letters. Okay, so it's a method and it is having a brackets also. So this is some of the ways you can identify it. Keep practicing that. You, whenever you create any class, make sure that the first letter of the your name of the class be a capital. Okay, so in that way you will just going to follow the same what Java is following the standards. So I have written a class and the name. Okay, now Java is based on some rules and regulations. I have created my own rules, and if you follow those rules, it will be much easier for you to programming. Unless and until you know all the rules what Java is facing or Java is doing, it is better you just follow my rules. I feel so like that. Okay, how? That is, my rule says that anytime you want to have a main method, it is always preferred that whatever the class is having the main method, declare that class as public. Okay, that's my rule, first rule. Okay, so I've said like public is my class and class, this thing. Okay, and in that I have specified, so public is an access specifier. Okay, you should remember that rule number 2 is that is Java's rule. In a single notepad file you can have multiple classes. Okay, I'll be showing in my next exam video in how we can have multiple classes, but for timing you should know that thing, that in a single notepad you can have multiple classes, but only one class can have an access specifier of type public. Okay, other all will have a default access specifier. So public you can write it, but you can write only in front of one single class in this particular notepad file or whatever file you are working with. Okay, so I have written that. Now I'm specifying I want to print this thing, this is my main method, and it is should be executed by the interpreter first. So how I'll do it, I'll say public static void main string args. This is a standard format given by Java people, that anything you want to tell anyone that this is the main method from where the execution should start. It is same like in C and C++, we used to have main method, but here it is little bit different. Okay, so here we have specified public static void main, that is a syntax you have to follow, and string args is a command line argument. I do expect you have some ideas of command line argument. We can assign values in multiple ways. Okay, command line argument is one of the ways at runtime we can pass values to it. Okay, so if you want runtime, you want to pass while executing the program, you want to pass some values, then in these args, the array, you can store those values. Okay, so I'll be explaining that in further one of my videos, how you can pass the values through command line. So timing, you just have to understand that string args is a variable which we are going to use for command line purpose. Okay, so fine, this is okay. This is the main method name, that is fine because that is by default given. Main method does not return, so we have specified void. Okay, that is also fine. And then why is this thing is required, why public and why static? That is very much important, you should understand that also. Okay, static is one of the access you can say keywords which came from C and C++ also used to have. Now static's rule says that if any method is declared as static, then that method is basically can be accessed without creating an object. Okay, so fundamental rule is that if anything you want to access from a class, then you have to create an object of that class. That is the fundamental rule. Exception is only in the case of static. Okay, if you want to access a static method, then that method can be accessed without creating an object also, that is with the help of class name. Okay, by specifying class name dot, you can specify the method name, you can access it without creating an object. So that is one of the advantage you are getting basically using the static. Okay, I hope so you know when we create static and when we don't create the static. That is same as C++. That is if that particular method is not relevant to the having any access to the variables and all of the class instant variables, in that case that method we generally create as static. Okay, in Java you have another this thing is that you can't put any method outside the class. So anything which is not much relevant to that class, okay, which is not having access to all the variables and all instant variables which we are having, okay, then we generally go for static. I'll explain that one of my videos. So why is the importance of static here? That fine, I can understand main method, if want to access the main method, then I don't have to create a main class. But the important thing is here that the main class main method is going to be interpreted or you being executed by the compiler. Okay, so compiler does not need to create an object while executing this program. So getting that advantage, to give to the compiler that if you want to execute my program, you don't have to sit and create an object of my class and then you call the main method. So I am specifying my main method as a static, so you can directly call my main method by simply specifying the class name dot the method name. So that what advantage you get by main method, I want to give that into the compiler so that he can execute my program much faster way. So that is the main purpose of having a static there, and that's why the Java people has created in that manner. Okay, now comes the public. It's one of the access specifiers of we used to have 4 access specifiers. We'll be having one session on that. Just for the time being, I just want to tell that is one is private, second one is protected, third one is public. Okay, these three are the most of the common one which you find in the C++ also. The fourth one is the default. If you don't specify anything, you have a default access specifier. We'll see what are the difference and all, but you have to be know that any method should be accessed outside, then it should be given a full access. So for that purpose also, my method is going to be called or executed by the compiler. Okay, so I want him to have full access, so I have to make him that method as my main method as public. So now you can understand, as per my rule, you want to print anything, you have to create a class. Okay, so I have created this thing. So class, my class, the curly braces should starts here, curly braces ends here. Okay, now I want, as per my rule, that the class which is having the main method should be public, so I specified here the public. Okay, I'll explain that thing, what difference we'll have in that also. Okay, so anything you want to print, you have to write system.out.println. So I've written like that also, system.out.println, and I've specified simply the double quotes and values. Okay, now comes is public static void main. This is a generalized standard syntax, and this is for the command line argument. This is the name of the method. This is the return type. Static because I want this method to be accessed without creating an object by the compiler. Public because outside is it's not my from program, it's a compiler who's going to execute my program, so I want to give him full access, so I specified public. Okay, so we have understood that concept. So I hope so you have cleared now for how to create the simple program. Okay, this is the first program, so I'll be showing you how to do that in a simple notepad. Other all my sessions will be done in Eclipse. Okay, so this is the first time only I will be showing this thing. Okay, so I'll just compile it. So compile, I'll say Java C, my class name, and .java. Now important thing is the file name. Okay, now there is also one more rule in that also you should remember. Java says, according to Java, the file name should be the same of the class name which is having the public access specifier in front of it. That means in a notepad file you can have only one class as public, as I have said it. Whichever class is having public access specifier, that should be the name of the file name. Okay, so that is why the my rule combines here, that is whichever the class is having the main method should have public. Okay, and that class name goes into the file name also. So these all things goes in combinations. For the timing, you have to only remember two rules. One, the method in which the class in which the main method is there, that class should be having an access specifier of public. That class name should be the same as the file name. That is the two simple rules you have to follow. Okay, so I compiled it. Now what is the compilation and what is interpretation? What I'm doing is, I'll explain it. So you can see the finally it has shown the output, but you can see that it has created something dot class, and I've used something like that. Now to execute the program, we have to use the compiler. Compile the program, we have to use the compiler, Java compiler, and to execute the program we need the interpreter. Java works in two stages, that is Java has compiler and interpreter both. Generally most of the languages used to either compile or used to interpret it. I hope so you have the understanding of what is the difference between compiler and interpreter. I will not go in detail that. Okay, so Java C, I'm saying please compile my file, which is a file, the file name is this .java, extension is this thing. So it will compile and it will generate the .class file. Now with the help of class file I can run this program. Okay, basically Java is having advantage of platform independent and portable also. Okay, in my next session I'll be explaining both. Okay, but only thing you have to remember, if you have some class files or someone else class file, you can take that class file in your pen drive or CD or anywhere, and you can take it to your home friend's home, and you can put there, if he is having a Java installed, you simply say Java main class, you will get the class name which is having the dot class. You say, in my case it is Java main class, you'll get the output. So you don't need the Java files to execute the programs. But if you want to make some modifications, the class file will not help you. In that case you need the Java file. You again need the Java file, you make modification, you again make compile it, and again you interpret it. Again you Java C and Java. Okay, so every time you remember, to get an output you have to first compile it, and then you get the class file, then say Java please interpret this main class file. Okay, so this is the standard format how we used to get the output from the Java file. Okay, so I do expect that you have understood what are the importance of classes, how to create a simple program. Okay, I've already created the same program in Eclipse. So I hope so you know how to create a simple project, Java project in Eclipse, and how to run it. If you don't know, I've already created a video of it. It is already there in my channel. Okay, so you go to my YouTube website, okay, and check it up how to create a simple project. In my sessions of these sessions, I'm not going to explain how to create the projects. I'll be simply showing you what are the importance of it and how we get it. Okay, so the same program I have created here in the Eclipse, so I just simply run it. Okay, so you can just say, and you can see the hello world. Okay, you can run it from here. Okay, or else you can say control F11, then also you get the output. Okay, so in here you don't have to Java C, Java don't, you don't have to do all those things. It helps in so many ways. It gives you so many helps, like if you want to write system, okay, system dot, and it will give you an option. Okay, so it will show you what are the options are there. Like I've said, like your out is print stream class object. Okay, so he's showing that, and you say println, so it will show you what are the things, how many different types of printlns are there. So these are the some of the advantages we are getting by using IDs. Okay, so I prefer in Java, Eclipse is quite better. Okay, NetBeans is also quite good, but it helps in a lot of ways. So I mean, like, it has much more than what we need. I feel so like that. So I prefer that you go for Eclipse. Okay, so in all my session I'll be using Eclipse only. Okay, I hope so I've cleared the doubts. We have seen like Java is an object-oriented programming language. Anything you want to do it, we have to create the class. So importance of class, anything you want to do, you have to need the class. So simply how to create the class, you should know it. Okay, so I simply shown how to simply print hello world, how to run it in simple case, and how to run in Eclipse also, and what is the importance of compiler and interpreter. Yes, compiler and interpreter will be explained by me in further sessions, where I'll be talking about major features of Java and all. Okay, but overall these are the things you should know for the first and the simple application development in Java. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.